Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Mr. Mohammed. I'm a maths teacher, and the aim of this channel is to teach students certain topics that are key to achieve at least a grade 4 or a 5 in their mathematics, if not better. Yeah. So this channel I will be starting off with topics such as expanding brackets today, and then I will be moving on to further topics. So this topic, expanding brackets, there are 2 or 3 different types of questions that you can get on this topic. Number one is when you've got a simple one bracket to expand, for example, like this, and it would be simply you multiply whatever is on the outside by what is on the inside. So the 3 times the 2x would give me a 6x. Some people prefer to write it like this horizontally, and then I'll do 3 times the 1 is a plus 3. That's one way of doing it. The other way could be 3 times 2x, and you could write 6x at the bottom, and then 3 times 1 plus 3 at the bottom. Some people visually prefer it going downwards. Some people prefer going across or sideways. However you want to do it is up to you. This question then moves on to a slightly more difficult question where you've got 2 brackets like this. So you might have 2x plus 1 plus 5 4x minus 1, and you have to expand and simplify this. We will be looking at these types of questions today, and then we will be looking at these types of questions as well, where you've got 2 brackets, double brackets, very common. You expand these and you get a quadratic that you need to simplify. So these are the 2 types of questions that we will be looking at today, and I will have some questions on the board where you can pause the video and attempt them questions yourselves as well if you want to, and then the answers, I will go through the answers as well. So let's begin. So example 1 we've got on the board is expand and simplify the following. So I've got 5 bracket 3x plus 5 plus 4 bracket 2x plus 1, and the nice thing about this question is I've got pluses everywhere. Because of these pluses everywhere, this is going to be pretty straightforward, and most students will be able to do this without any hint or without any help and get it correct. The reason I'm mentioning the pluses is because what seems to happen, and what is a common error amongst students that I teach or I have taught in the past, is that the expanding, the factorizing isn't an issue. The issue is the negatives. That when the negatives come into the question, they hinder students, they confuse them, and because of that they end up making errors, and they get mixed up between their rules for negatives for multiplication and division and the rules for negatives for addition and subtraction. We will try to tackle these rules one by one as they come across in the questions. So let's begin with this. Expand and simplify. So I expand the first bracket, then I expand the second bracket, and I'm going to go downwards, and then I will simplify. So I do 5 times 3x gives me 15x. 5 times 5 gives me 25. Then I move on to the second bracket. 4, and it's a positive 4 times 2x gives me 8x. 4 times the positive 1 gives me a plus 4. Then I simplify this by collecting like terms. So I collect the x's together. I will just underline them. 15x plus 8x gives me 23x. Some people may prefer to write that separately and work it out. I'm not going to do that. Then I can underline the other numbers, the other like terms, which is the numbers 25 and 4, and I underline the signs before them. So plus 25 plus 4 is plus 29, and that would be my answer simplified. So the first line of working is my answer, my question expanded, and the second line is that the expanded answer simplified. Moving on to the second example, I've got expand and simplify, similar type of question. The difference is I've got 2 negatives in the second bracket. So let's do this. So I expand this first bracket similar to before. I do 3 times 3x, which is 9x. Then I go on to 3 times 2, which is plus 6. Then I go into the second bracket and I begin with the 5 and the 3x, but in this question it's a minus 5. So a minus 5 times 3x gives me minus 15x. This is where it's slightly changing now. Then I do a -5 times a -1, and that gives me a positive or a +5. Why? Because a negative multiplied by a negative gives me a positive. Now I start to collect like terms like previously, and I start with my x's, 9x minus 15x. Well, I start at 9, and in case you're getting confused on how to do this, you can just draw a number line like this. Assume that's your 0. Well, your 9's there, and I'm minus 15, so it'll take me 9 to get to 0. Then I have to go down another 6, so it'll be minus 6x. Then I do the same with the numbers, and I get plus 6, plus 5. Well, that's a straightforward one, plus 11. And my answer is minus 6x plus 11, or alternatively, I can write that as 11 minus 6x, because as mathematicians, we don't like leaving negatives at the front, so we'll swap them around and there's no issue with that. So this one, you just have to be careful with the negative. So you got negative there. So when you're multiplying, apply the negative to the number outside the bracket, and then when you multiply it by a positive, it'll give you a negative answer. When you multiply it by a negative, it'll give you a positive answer. So just be careful with that. Now, what I want you to do now is on the next page, I'm going to have some questions up for you. So pause the video, have a go at them questions, and then you can play the video once you've done them, and I will go through the answers. Alternatively, if you're in a rush and you don't have time to do the questions, then I will wait about 5 seconds when I get into the next page, and then I will go through the questions one by one. So, okay, I'm going to go through these answers now for these questions. The first one, I do 5 times 4x. I'm not going to do the caves this time because of lack of space. That gives me 20x there, plus 5, plus 6x, plus 6. And that would simplify down to 26x plus 11. I go into the next one. I'll do this one above because of lack of space. And I should be okay there actually. 9x plus 6 plus 12x plus 3, and then this would simplify down to 21x plus 9. Question 3, I get 14x plus 7 plus 8x plus 12, and this would simplify down to 22x plus 19. Question 4, I get 24x plus 48. Second bracket, I expand and I get 12x. And this is where my negative comes in. Positive 6 times the negative 5 gives me minus 30. And this would simplify down to 36x, 48 minus 30, and that gives me plus 18. I do apologize for the writing of my answers and my presentation, but it is what it is. 12 times 3x is 36x. 12 times minus 5 is minus 60. 4 times 6x is 24x. 4 times 5 is 20. And then this would simplify down to 60x minus 40. The next one, I get 21x minus 49 minus 10x plus 6. And this would simplify down to 11x, and minus 49 at 6 is minus 43. Next one here, the numbers are at the front rather than the x, and I get 24 minus 16x minus 35x plus 49. Separate that from that question. And 24 plus 49 is 74. And minus 16 minus 35 is minus 51x. And I can just leave it like that. The last question here, I'll write it down here. I'll use the arrow so that you know what I'm referring to. 8 times 3x is 24x. 8 times 6 is 48. Minus 6 times 5 is minus 30. And then I got a plus 18x at the end. I'll simplify by adding my x's first, and I get 42x. 48 minus 30 is 18. That would be my answer. So hopefully this lesson you've understood and we've covered expanding and simplifying single brackets and two brackets. Now I will move on to the next topic that would follow from this, which is expanding double brackets. So when it comes to expanding double brackets to two brackets that are next to each other, we need to understand what this means. This means that everything or every term in this first bracket is multiplied by every term in the second bracket. Or a method that is commonly used is called FOIL. So which is that you multiply the x, which is your first term, by the first term in this second bracket. So the first terms, you multiply them. Then you do x times the 4, which are your two outside terms. Then you go to your inside term, which is 7, and you times that by x and you get 7x. And then you go to your last terms, which are your 7 and your 4, and you multiply them. Some people like to use this. I'm not too much of, or I'm not too fussed about what you use as long as you get the answer correct. So what you need to understand is with this question, this x or this first term is multiplied by everything in the second bracket. So that is the x and the 4 separately. Then you go to the second term, which is the 7, and you do the same to that. You multiply it by everything in this bracket. So I'll start off with the x, and I do x times x is x squared. Then I go x times 4, and that is a plus 4x. Then I go to the 7 and I multiply that by x, which is a plus 7x. Then I go to the 7 and the 4 and I multiply that and I get 28. Then I should have wrote expand and simplify. Why? Because I need to simplify this down by collecting like terms. My like terms are the 4x and the 7x. I put them together and I get a plus 11x, and then I got a plus 28 at the end there, done. The biggest error, or the errors that people make in this, is what they do is they do x times x is x squared, 7 times 4 is 28. Normally this happens when this question gets asked like a month or 2 months after you've done the topic. When students are done this topic in the class fresh, they are fine with this type of question. But when they are doing it 2 months or 3 months after, that's the common answer they give, x squared plus 28. So they need to just take their time. This would be worth about 2 marks on an exam paper. So take 2 minutes and do it. It's, and it should be pretty straightforward, yeah? So this is the best way, in my opinion, of doing it. There are other methods. I'm not going to go through them. Example 2, this time, again, I've included a negative because I know that students get confused by the negatives. Hopefully, it's not too difficult within this type of question. I start with the x and I do x times x, which is x squared. Then I do x times the 3, which is plus 3x. Then I go to the minus 8 and I multiply that by x and I get minus 8x. Then I go to the minus 8 and I times by the 3 and I get minus 24. I simplify by collecting the like terms in the middle and I get x squared minus 5x minus 24. Now I've left space here because I want to show you how this question could potentially change. One of the ways it could change is that instead of giving you 2 brackets like this, double brackets, they might give you 1 bracket with a square. So for example, if that's example 2, I'll call this example 3. You might get something like this. Pretty straightforward. If you get this, write this bracket out twice, get rid of the square, and then expand them. So this would be the same as x plus 2 multiplied by itself. So x plus 2. Then you can just do what you did there. That's one type of question. The next type of question, common question, would be where you've got 2 brackets, you're asked to expand them. One of them, the coefficient of x is a number greater than 1. So you might have 3x plus 2, and this could be a coefficient greater than 1, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just make it nice, x minus 5. In this case, it's 3x times x, which is 3x squared. 3x times the minus 5, which is minus 15x. Then 2 times the x, which is a plus 2x. 2 times the minus 5, which is a minus 10. Now you can't see that. Blue on blue, big problem, but I ain't moving it. Simplify that down. 3x squared and minus 15x plus 2x gives me a minus 13x. Now you should have paid attention. You should know that that is a minus 10. That would be your answer. Now, if this was 2 marks, then this could potentially be 3 marks, but I doubt it. Anyhow, let's move on to the questions. Again, like previous, pause the video when I put the questions up. After 5 seconds, I will go through the answers, and if you want me to just go through them straight away, or if you can pause it, have a go at the questions, and then listen to my answers, and then check if you got them correct. Okay, before I go through the answer, let's do some live editing. So first question, expand and simplify x plus 8 times x plus 3. I'm not going to show you the curves again because of lack of space. X squared plus 3x, so x times x is x squared, x times 3 is 3x, 8 times x is 8x, 8 times 3 is 24, and then I simplify that by collecting the middle terms and I get 11x plus 24. Next question, x times x is x squared. I just said I'm not going to do this, but I'm doing it now. Plus 6x minus 7x and minus 42. Collect the middle terms and I get x squared minus x minus 42. This one here, I get 3x squared minus 3x plus 8x minus 8. And then I simplify that, I get 3x squared plus 5x minus 8. Next one, well, that's a bit messed up in it because the 2x is in the second bracket, but anyhow, 2x squared minus 3x plus 14x minus 21. 2x squared plus 11x minus 21. I do 2x times 3x gives me 6x squared. Then I get minus 14x minus 15x and plus 35 for the end bit. And then I simplify that, 6x squared minus 29x plus 35. This one, 5x times 5x is 25x squared plus 30x minus 12 times 5 is minus 60x minus 72, and then I get 20, is that a 25? See that I struggle to read my own writing. I don't know how students read my writing. Minus 30x minus 72. This one, you make this into, or you say x at 8 times x at 8, and I get x squared plus 16x plus 64 when I expand it. This one, I'm going to go straight to the answer. Get 9x squared plus 6x plus 1. So that's a nice 6, yeah? So mark your answers, check if you got most of these correct. Leave a like and share this video if you enjoyed it and if you enjoyed the explanations. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.